Welcome back to the channel, Upcyclers. We are doing a PSA reveal, and specifically, we're doing the continued quest for my PSA 10 set of 1992 Marvel Masterpiece. What these cards are raw cards that I've been picking up for a while and saved up till I had a bunch of them, and then there was a special. It was a non-sports and TGC special last month that was $14. So I sent in a total of 36 cards, um, some of which are the last four cards I need for the set. The rest are ones that look really good, and I thought I could hopefully get tens on to maybe trade or sell or whatever to help finance the rest of the project. Um, as an aside, about a 15% gem rate if you look at the pop report is kind of in general what people get on these. So it's certainly not like grade and ultra modern cards where anything other than a 10 is a disappointment and a loss. At a $14 grading fee, you're gonna get, you'll make a couple of bucks on a 9. Tens you'll do really well on, obviously. And then even, the more popular character 8s, you might even break even or make a couple of bucks. So really the game is get mostly 9s and 10s and hopefully get lucky and hit 10s on some of the cards that I actually need for my set. The last four cards I need for my set, if you are curious, are Darkhawk, White Queen, Tombstone, and the Checklist. And of all those cards, by far the one I'm most worried about is the Checklist. That is the lowest pop of all the cards. And yeah, that one's gonna be a problem. But that's part of the part of the fun of the project. If it was easy, everybody would do it, and everybody would have one of these sets. So it is what it is. Doing the best we can. Okay, so there's the stacks. I'm going to set these off to the side. We'll do our piles. I'll get like a 10, 9, and everything else pile going. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you do enjoy this kind of content, please do like the videos, subscribe to the channel, do all that stuff, ring the bell. It would really help me out a lot with trying to grow the channel and the algorithm and all that YouTube-y stuff. All right, here we go. Card number 1 is Sandman, and that got an 8. All right, here's our first, excuse me, here's our first Darkhawk, and that got a 9. Darn it. All right, Namor. There's a 10. All right, got our first 10. Looking good. Mr. Sinister. 9. So I'm constantly looking out for 9. Good deals on raw lots or individual raw cards, specifically of the ones that I am trying to get to finish out my set. And then as I get those in, I do the best I can to examine them, online in the pictures. Obviously, centering is something that's fairly easy to see. The most common area on these cards to have problems, another 9, are they all have this. All the backs are the same design. They have slightly different colors in this bottom section, but issues down there in those corners is what's most common. You can get little bits on the back corners because these cards did tend to stick together a little bit, especially if you're opening packs now. And also, unlike sports cards from the time period, you know how it looks like, there might be like corner damage, like it's a slightly rounded corner, and that's actually how they were made. They did have a slightly rounded look to the corner, certainly more so than you would have seen in a more traditional sports card at that time period. It was also the early days of that sort of like gloss finish on them, and that the chemicals that they used back then really had a tendency to stick together over time. And that's partly what makes this set so challenging. You would think, like with other more, just simple cardboard cards, like, 80s Garbage Pail Kids, for example, right? You can still find unopened packs, rack packs, cellos, etc., of the old Garbage Pail Kid cards, and you can open them and you can find, obviously centering is a big issue with those and print quality, but there's tens out there to be found. And I think that's less true of these, because I have gone the route of attempting to buy and open, and I find that they're very there's 10 stuck together, and I've tried all different methods of unsticking them, and I've had basically no luck with that. So you almost need to find someone that collected these. There we go. There's a 10 back in the day, and has actually kept really good care of them, which, as you can imagine, is not easy to do. But they are out there. Oh, back-to-back 10s, nice. I mean, so far we're doing pretty good. We've only gotten 4 8s. We got a big stack of 9s, and like I said, I kind of look at it as, you're probably minimum 75 to $100 on any 10, going up from there depending on the character, and that's both to sell or to trade. These at a $14 grading fee, you're probably going to get 20-25 bucks for the most part out of those 9s, and then it's kind of whatever on the 8s. There's our first. We got a 6. Tombstone. There are several tombstones in here because that is one of the ones I needed. This is going to have some kind of crease or dent that I missed. Or I don't know. Because, I looked these over extremely thoroughly. I was very critical of the cards. Gatekeeping what I was actually going to send in. So I honestly expect that it should be a large percentage of 9s and 10s. Like the big 9 pile and already getting a handful of 10s does not surprise me. That's what I was very much hoping for and expecting. And it looks like we got a pretty middle of the road, fairish grader. Now, sure, I'd love a few more of these 9s to turn into 10s, because the multiplier of the value is pretty significant between 9 and a 10, as we discussed earlier. But it is what it is. Here's another 8. Silver Sable. Let's see. Anybody see anything? If you see something, let me know in the comments. You're like, I'm even going to put my glasses on here. Looks pretty dang good to me. But then again, not just with these cards, but any cards, the difference between 9 and 10 can be so minor and so arbitrary that it's darn near impossible sometimes to see without the naked eye. There's another 9. And I have, seen some stuff about grading notes becoming a thing at PSA, which would be fantastic. Like stuff of this age, like this is like prime stuff that you would want grading notes for, because any of these older cards, that were mass produced, where there's an extreme premium on a 10 in terms of value and collectability, and you get you go over them with a magnifying glass and a fine-tooth comb, so to speak, and you're like, yeah, these cards all look perfect. I think they all have a very good chance of getting a 10. Then you send it in and you got 3 9s for every 1 10 you get, and you really just like to know why. Like, I would love to know why, and I would have happily paid a couple extra bucks for the grader's notes. Just why did this get a 9? Like, what did you see? I think that would be very interesting, helpful, and educational. I'm going to show that one. That's today. Now, here's an interesting card. I think this was the only checklist I sent in. These are notoriously difficult because it's got dark color on the front and on the back. And this was, frankly, the nicest looking example I've ever seen. I also believe it did get a 9, which is so close. Like, I'll bet you this one was like a 9.5 if there was one, so to speak. Like, I'm almost tempted to crack and send this one in again. I feel like this might be the kind of card that if I sent it in like, 5 or 6 times at some point, it'd be close enough that some grader would be, in a good mood or moving a little too quick and might slide me the 10. Because other than something like that, I'm genuinely concerned about how I'm ever going to find a 10 in that card. I'm almost certain is the lowest pop of any 10 in this whole 100 card set. Oh, by the way, I should mention it's a 100 card set. And technically, the checklist is the 100th card. Now, you know what? Actually, I can't remember. Yeah, see, it actually does show the checklist on the checklist as part of the checklist. So, I mean, to complete the set, yeah, you do kind of need it. There's one guy on the PSA registry. I mean, I don't know if it's a guy. One person, one account that has... there's 10. That has the complete set. Has 99 cards in PSA 10. And then they have a checklist in PSA 8. So that's how hard it is to do. And I'd be surprised if I can find or get graded this is another one I needed for my set. That was a bummer. But then again, frankly, whether it's an 8 or a 9, does it really matter? Neither one's going to work for my set, so whatever. That I'd be surprised if it wasn't the checklist. That's the last card I end up getting. And it might take me years. Who knows? Now, these are interesting. The next 3 or 4 are these Battle Spectras. It's got like a foil finish. I don't know how well it's coming across in the camera. And these were sort of like a shorter printed insert that wasn't part of the checklist that you could get in the packs. I think you got like 2 of these on average per box. So it's a fairly rare card. There's 5 different ones. It does have it on the checklist. Now, I am not trying to get this as part of my set. Similar to you could also buy these little tin boxes that had the complete 100 card set in them, and also had I think a 5 card set. They call it like the Lost Ladies, and it was like 5 additional cards that were like numbered like I think like L1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of some other more I guess obscure at the time characters. I'm not trying to get those. Side note: speaking of the those tin boxes, I also believe that was the only place that you could get the checklist. I don't think the checklist came in the regular packs, and the problem is that in those tin boxes, because I did open those one time, in the tin boxes, the whole 100 card set was in a stack, like the plastic cellophane wrap around it, and then it was in the tin. But the problem is it's loose in the tin. So, the tin's that big. The cards are, that big. It's banging around in there. So the card on top, the card on the bottom, and probably most all of the corners were just getting the snot kicked out of them for however many years they've been bouncing around in that tin. So good luck opening one of those and getting a good condition checklist, since it's the bottom card on the stack. There's a 9. Yeah, so close on these Tombstone 9s. Like, here, we'll look at that one up close. If anybody's got any bright ideas, what's wrong with that one? I am all ears. Please enlighten me, because this one looks really good to me. And the final card is a Venom. Well, I mean, overall we got 1, 2, 3, 7. So we're right on that 20%. So we are just a hair above probably the average for this set in the registry in terms of a gem rate. But we actually did quite well on the 9s. In fact, our 9s, yeah, we had more 9s than everything else combined. So, you know, nothing in here I need to keep for my set. So in terms of like sale and trade value, we're definitely going to come out ahead. So we're actually going to end up probably making a few bucks, which is great because it effectively gave us the opportunity to have this dart throw, if you will, on like these tombstones and the checklists and stuff that were close that I really needed for my set, effectively for free, you know. And then the idea being we keep looking for cards like this, getting them graded. Eventually we're gonna hit it. And then of course at the same time I'm always watching online auctions and sales and stuff. Like, for example, there is a tombstone right now up on eBay. It's just I think the guy is asking way too much for it. And, you know, eventually, hopefully he'll lower the price and we can make a deal. In the meantime, I'll try to get one graded myself. Anyway, let me know what you think. If any of you out there are going for this set. I know I did have someone reach out to me on one of my eBay listings. Regarding actually one of these cards. The, I think it was the Nick Fury that was down there, I think. That said they're working on and almost done with a PSA 9 set, which actually might be kind of fun. Like, when I finish my PSA 10 set, I really haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. Like, I feel like I'll probably want to keep it for at least like a little while and maybe display it up in a thing on my wall in my office or something. But I don't feel like it's something that I'll, you know, keep and hand down to my children's children because, you know, the hunt and the process of going through it and making these videos for you folks is the part of it that I actually enjoy more than just owning something and like looking at it. But again, I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. As always, thank you very much for your time and watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. It helps me, helps the channel. And yeah, I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.